All right, big news from Red Hat. They've just given us the first official peek at what's coming in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10, and wow, it is packed with some major updates. So, let's just dive right in and break down what you really need to know.
Now, just so you know, everything we're about to talk about, it's coming straight from Red Hat's own official technical overview. We're not guessing here. We're going straight to the source to give you the clearest possible picture of what's on the horizon.
Look, a brand new OS release is always exciting, right? But let's be real. The question we all ask is, so what? What does this actually do for me, for my apps, for my infrastructure? And you know what? That's the exact question we're going to answer today.
So, here's the game plan. First, we'll look at what makes RHEL 10 a truly next-gen OS. Then, we'll jump into the nitty-gritty. Core performance, security that's built for the future, and of course, all the new goodies for developers and the cloud. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about what this all means for you.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the next generation. And this is important because Red Hat isn't just treating this as another small update. No, they're positioning RHEL 10 as a whole new standard for what an enterprise OS should be. So what's under the hood? Well, at its very core, RHEL 10 is built on a brand new modern kernel baseline. Think of it like this. They've completely redesigned the engine to get every single ounce of power out of the latest hardware. We're talking about pushing more data faster and, get this, using less power to do it. It's all about efficiency. And of course, having that shiny new foundation leads us right into our next big topic, core performance. Because this is where all that groundwork starts to pay off in real-world speed and efficiency. Okay, so this is actually a huge deal. RHEL 10 now requires a hardware baseline of x86 64 v3. Now, what does that mean in plain English? It means the OS can now use advanced CPU features like AVX2 right out of the box. And let me tell you, this is not some tiny incremental improvement. If you're doing anything with scientific computing, big data, AI, anything heavy, this can unlock massive performance gains without you having to change a single line of code. And there's more. RHEL 10 is also doubling down on eBPF. If you haven't played with eBPF yet, the superpowers analogy on the screen is perfect. It basically lets you safely run tiny, efficient programs right inside the kernel itself. Why is this cool? Well, it gives you this incredible, deep view into what your system is doing, plus super high-performance networking and security monitoring, all without touching your application's code. It's a game changer. But listen, all that speed and power doesn't mean a thing if your system isn't locked down tight, right? And that brings us perfectly to our next section, future-ready security. And this isn't just about today's threats, it's about getting ready for what's coming tomorrow. And here's a fantastic example of just how forward-looking they're being. Early support for post-quantum cryptography. I mean, think about that. The idea is to start building the digital locks of the future before the quantum keys that could break today's locks are even a reality. This is serious long-term data protection we're talking about. Okay, but what about right here, right now? Well, RHEL 10 is already aligned with the latest, most stringent security standards out there. We're talking FIPS 143 compliance, which is a must-have for government work, and it defaults to OpenSSL 3, so you can be sure you're using modern, secure cryptography right from the get-go. All right, so we've got performance, we've got security, both absolutely critical. But what about the people actually building on this platform? What about the developers? Well, let's talk about how RHEL 10 is making their lives a whole lot easier by streamlining development and cloud workflows.
This is a big one for developers. You're getting access to the latest and greatest toolchains built right into the OS. We're talking GCC 14, LLVM 18, updated runtimes for Python and Ruby, and a huge update to Podman 5.0. Bottom line, you can build modern apps with modern tools instead of fighting with an OS that's stuck in the past.
And once you've built your app, deploying it just got way easier. The image builder tool has gotten some serious upgrades. You can now define one single blueprint for your perfect OS, build a custom image from it, and then, this is the best part, deploy that exact same image to AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, anywhere. Total consistency, way less hassle.
And if you want to streamline things even more, RHEL 10 is bringing in new Ansible-based system roles. This is all about automation. It lets you automate all those complex, tedious setup tasks for things like storage, networking, and security policies. That means fewer manual errors and rock-solid consistency across all of your systems.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here, right?
from the deep down kernel stuff all the way up to the cloud. So let's step back, bring it all together, and answer that original question. What does this really mean for you?
When you boil it all down, it really comes down to 3 key things. First, you get better performance thanks to that focus on modern hardware. Second, you get stronger security that's built to handle future threats. And third, you get simpler automation that just makes managing everything so much easier.
And that really leaves us with just one final, pretty important question. It's clear that Red Hat has built RHEL 10 to last. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: is your infrastructure ready for the next decade? Thanks for tuning into this explainer.